In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how the useState is used, and we'll be also going over different things about the useState, and also I'm going to be giving an example at the end of this video. So let's get started. So let's talk about the useState. So when you have a useState, right, you have to initialize it, and when you have initialized your useState, it can take in number, strings, arrays, and objects. And whenever you create a useState, you have to initialize it as well, which is, if you look here, this is how we use the useState. We have to import it in using React, and you end up using this. This is your useState, and this is the initial value. It can take in 0, it can take in null, like this. It can also take in Boolean values. It can take in a string like this. Okay, so this is the initialization. So the next thing is, it returns an array with 2 elements, and one is to get the current state, and the other one is to update that state. So if you look here, this is the array, and this is the current state, and this is the function that we're going to use to update our state. And I'm going to give you examples later on. So the third thing you have to remember is, whenever our state updates, right, using this, the set function, whenever the update function is called, React schedules a re-render of the component with the updated state. Whenever the useState updates, it will re-render the whole component. And what a component is, it's this basically. I've named it useState. You can name it whatever you want. It could be a navbar component, it could be a form component, whatever it is. If it has a useState, it will re-render that whole component. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. So I've prepared a little example here. It's to increment the value and also decrement it, and whenever this function is run, the setCount function is going to update the state. It's going to get the current state, and then it's going to add 1, and to decrement it, it's going to decrease it by 1. Okay, so the way this is set is, I'm just displaying the count, and there are 2 buttons. Okay, and I'm using Bootstrap for the style. So we use an event, and inside of it I'm just adding this function, the increment and decrement function, and you can also use an arrow function in this as well, like this and like this. So these are the 2 ways of doing this. Sometimes you're gonna have to use it like this, but for a simple function like this is more than enough. Okay, so let's go and run this. And if you see right now, if I reload this, you'll see that we are getting this console log. Okay, and the reason for this console log is that in the component I've added this to just console log React re-rendered each time our component is going to re-render. And this is to show you that if I increment the value, which will update the state, you will see that it's re-rendering. And if you're seeing this 2 times, this is a whole other thing that I need to discuss. But for now, in your main.jsx file, you'll see something called React strict, and this is because of that. But for now, I'm just going to show you that whenever the state is updated, our component is re-rendered, and because it's re-rendered, it's showing the console log, because the whole component is now re-rendered each time the state is updated. So this is how the useState works. Whenever the useState is updated, and if you're wondering what re-rendering means, is basically has to do with the virtual DOM, and you can think of it like a part of our app is reloaded. That's what's happening with the virtual DOM. So I hope you like this tutorial. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Then we'll start creating full stack tutorials. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.